You ever have one of those days, your to-do list just keeps going, emails piling up, and you're just thinking, man, I wish I had like 30 hours today.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there.
Yeah, feeling totally overwhelmed, maybe a bit out of control. It's such a modern thing, isn't it?
It really is.
And I think deep down, what we're often wrestling with is self-management. It's just so critical, not just for work, but for navigating life today.
Exactly. And that's really what this deep dive is all about.
Yeah.
We've got this fantastic coaching guide focused specifically on self-management, and we've kind of distilled it down for you.
Like the highlights reel.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Think of it as your fast track to understanding and actually using some essential strategies.
Yeah.
Our goal here is just to help you get that knowledge quickly,
Mhm.
but properly, hopefully give you some aha moments without the overwhelm.
Nice. Practical insights, straight from the source material, ready to use. I like it.
That's the plan. Make it accessible, make it actionable.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because self-management, it's not just one skill, is it? It's more like a whole toolkit you build up.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
And our source material breaks it down into 6 key areas. These are the foundations: pressure and stress management, time management, prioritizing, maintaining focus, self-motivation, and personal productivity.
That's right. And the guide we're digging into, it's really set up for self-coaching. Right away, it asks you to think, do you have any skills that needs some attention? Are there any that are okay, but maybe you want to improve them? And, realistically, where are you right now with each of these?
So it gets you thinking about yourself from the get-go, personalized.
Exactly. It encourages you to pinpoint your own areas for
Mm.
growth, which makes the whole thing much more relevant.
Makes sense. Okay, let's dive into the first big one, stress and pressure. Everyone talks about it, but do we really get the difference?
That's a common confusion.
Yeah, and the source it specifically calls out this misconception, clarifying that work pressure and work stress, they're not the same thing.
And the definition in the guide is really quite precise. It says work pressure is the pressure which you experience at work. You must finish a certain amount of tasks within a certain time frame. Pretty straightforward.
Okay, so that's the external demand.
Right. Then it says work stress, namely, is the reaction which you have to this pressure. That's the key, the reaction.
Okay.
And here's the crucial bit. Work pressure does not necessarily have to go together with stress. Work pressure can also have advantages. That really flips the script for a lot of people.
Wow, okay. That distinction is genuinely eye-opening. Pressure isn't automatically bad. Stress is the reaction to it.
Precisely.
So, thinking about that, if pressure itself isn't the enemy, what does the guide suggest for actually, reframing it, using it maybe as fuel instead of something that weighs you down?
Yeah, it offers some really practical things. For example, it says, forget multitasking.
Really, everyone thinks multitasking is the key.
I know, right? But the guide highlights how it's counterintuitive. Our brains don't really multitask. They just switch context really fast. And that actually burns more energy and often lowers the quality of the work.
Okay. Makes sense when you put it like that. What else?
Something simple. Walk at lunchtime. Just get away. Move your body. It's not just a physical break. The source points out it resets your brain, boosts creativity, lowers cortisol, makes the afternoon way more productive.
Simple but effective. I like those.
Definitely. And then there's the mindset shift. Use pressure as an opportunity to grow. See it as a challenge, not just a threat. And also, importantly, ask a mentor how they would solve the problem. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, leverage wisdom.
That really resonates. It reminds me of what the legendary coach John Wooden said. You can't let praise or criticism get to you. It's a weakness to get caught up in either one. It's about managing that internal reaction, isn't it?
Absolutely. Controlling your response to those external things, whether it's pressure or praise or whatever.
And managing reactions to pressure. It often links straight to how well we manage our time, doesn't it?
They're definitely connected.
Yeah, and the guide moves right into these intertwined skills, time management and prioritizing. Wooden also had a great quote for this, kind of a paradox. When you hurry, you're more likely to make mistakes, but you have to be quick. If you're not quick, you can't get things done.
That captures attention perfectly. Be quick, but don't hurry.
Exactly. So how does the guide define prioritizing in this context?
It defines prioritization as how you give hierarchy to tasks based on their importance and how early you need to complete them. But it adds a crucial layer. In the process of prioritization, the energy, time, attention, and focus are also prioritized for that particular task.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just ranking the tasks, it's ranking your resources for those tasks. Energy, focus.
Exactly. It's a strategic allocation of everything you've got.
So the question for you listening is, how well are you prioritizing? Really prioritizing, not just making lists. Because if everything feels urgent, well, that's just a fast track to burnout, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And the source has some great tips here. For time management, it suggests actually auditing how time is really spent.
Ooh, that can be scary.
It could be a real eye-opener. You find all these hidden time wasters. Also, attacking more complex tasks when you have the highest energy, working with your natural rhythms, not against them.
Smart.
And a huge one today, putting cell phones aside, obvious, maybe, but crucial. That little thing derails so much.
Tell me about it. Okay, and for prioritizing specifically.
Key tips include identify urgent versus important. That's the classic Eisenhower matrix thinking. Assess the actual value of each task towards your goals. And this one's powerful. Know when to cut.
Cut tasks, like just delete them.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
If it doesn't align, if it's not valuable, maybe the most productive thing is to just not do it. It's empowering. And finally, a broader one. Schedule a percentage of your time for personal goals, growth, and career. Don't let work tasks swallow everything.
That's so important for the long game. And it all comes back to planning, doesn't it? Like another Wooden quote, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Simple, but profound.
Couldn't agree more. Preparation is foundational.
Okay, so we've talked pressure, stress, time, priorities. Let's shift gears a bit to the internal stuff, focus and self-motivation. In a world that's constantly pinging and distracting us, what does it even mean to focus anymore?
That's a great question. The source defines focus as the act of concentrating your interest or activity on something specific. But here's the key part. When we say yes to one option and no to all the other options.
Ah, the saying no part.
Exactly, quotes Tim Ferriss. What you don't do determines what you can do. Focus requires elimination, choosing what not to engage with.
That's a powerful way to think about it. Not just adding focus, but subtracting distractions.
Precisely.
And the source also looks at why we lose motivation, which I found really interesting. It lists 3 main reasons. Number 1, lack of confidence. If you don't believe you can do it.
Why bother trying? Yeah.
Right. Number 2, lack of focus.
Yeah.
If you're scattered, you don't have that pull towards something specific.
No clear target.
And number 3, lack of direction. Just not knowing what steps to take, even if you have the goal, understanding those blocks seems like the first step.
Absolutely. Knowing the why behind the lack of motivation helps you address it. And the guide gives concrete strategies for both focus and motivation. For focus, one practical tip is work for 25 months, then have a 5-minute break.
Ah, the Pomodoro technique.
That's the one. Really helps sustain concentration. Another direct one. Put a lock on social media. Use apps, site blockers, whatever it takes to remove that temptation.
Essential these days.
And a really good daily habit. And each day with 15 minutes of reflection on successes and failures, then plan the next day. It closes loops, helps you learn, and sets you up proactively.
I like that reflection piece. Okay, and for self-motivation.
Some great tips there too. Do the toughest task first. Get that win early. Build momentum. Compare yourself with yourself, not with others. Focus on your own progress. Healthy tracking.
Good one. Avoids the comparison trap.
Exactly. And finally, get out of your comfort zone. Motivation often sparks when we challenge ourselves and grow.
Those are brilliant, really practical ways to build that inner drive. It brings 2 more John Wooden quotes to mind. First, never mistake activity for achievement. You can spin your wheels all day
and achieve nothing of value. True.
And this one, I really love this. Just try to be the best you can be. Never cease trying to be the best you can be. That's in your power. That speaks right to self-motivation, that continuous effort.
Beautifully put. It's about internal standards and continuous improvement.
Okay, let's round out these skills with the last one. Personal productivity. Beyond just, churning out tasks, what does being truly productive actually mean according to the source?
It defines it really clearly. The input of time, energy, and resources compared to the output. It's about efficiency and effectiveness. Personal productivity refers to our ability to complete tasks and achieve goals both effectively and efficiently.
Effectively and efficiently, key difference.
Right. It stresses productivity is about doing things well, not just about getting them done. And ultimately, personal productivity, therefore, is ultimately about achieving goals. It's goal-oriented.
Not just busy work. It's about moving the needle on what actually matters. So as you're listening, maybe ask yourself, how productive am I, really? And how conscious am I about directing that productivity?
Great reflective question.
Yeah.
because it is about conscious effort. And the guide has some, let's say, intriguing tips here. Some are pretty bold, like wake up at 4:30 a.m. or earlier than you currently do.
Wow, okay. That's intense, but I guess it links to discipline.
Yeah, often linked to discipline, quiet time, getting ahead of the day. Then there are ones tackling modern demons. Seriously, limit your phone use and turn off all phone notifications. Critical for reclaiming focus.
Absolutely critical.
It even includes some unconventional ones like take a cold shower.
Old shower. Seriously.
Yep. Many people swear by it for mental resilience, alertness, waking you up fast. And then there's a surprising one. Commit a random act of kindness every day.
Kindness for productivity. How does that work?
Well, the guide suggests it boosts your overall mood and well-being, reduces self-focus, and that positive state indirectly fuels your capacity to be productive and resilient. It's holistic.
That's fascinating. It shows productivity isn't just about spreadsheets and tasks, it's about the whole person. And speaking of getting things done, John Wooden's straightforward advice: nothing will work unless you do.
Can't argue with that. Action is required.
And his definition of success ties it all together. Success comes from knowing that you did your best to become the best you are capable of becoming. That effort, that self-awareness, it's all linked.
Absolutely. So bringing this all together, the key takeaway is that knowing this stuff is great, but it's the application that makes the difference. This whole deep dive is about giving you tools you can actually use to make changes.
Right. And the source material itself really pushes for that action. It asks you point blank, what action are you specifically committing to? Like, improve my specific skill by taking these specific action steps.
Yeah, making it concrete.
And then it follows up. How will you make yourself accountable? What support do you need? And how will you check in to review? It's really setting you up to follow through, not just feel inspired for 5 minutes.
Exactly. It's about building sustainable habits. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about the power of small, consistent improvements.
The compound effect. Precisely. That transformation we often seek, it usually doesn't come from one huge leap. It comes from those small, committed steps, day after day. The strength isn't always in the grand gesture, but in the consistent effort. So maybe just think, what's one tiny shift, one small action you can commit to today that starts you on a better path with your own self-management?
A really powerful thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into self-management. We really hope you found some valuable, actionable insights. Until next time.